at home. That is how some local veterans who fought in the U.S. wars in the Middle East, suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, describe their lives. And some say the staffing shortage at the Tucson VA is making matters worse.
Some complain of long wait times to see doctors, and KGUN-9 has learned VA investigators are looking into a possible hidden wait list for mental health patients in one of the community clinics. 9 on Your Side's Valerie Cavazos continues her investigation into the severe staffing shortage at the Tucson VA that has led to the Office of Inspector General investigation that is currently underway.
They are horrific images no one should have to see.
Hey, we need the medic over here. How copy?
Graphic scenes some soldiers on the battlefield in Iraq and Afghanistan can't get out of their heads. Images like this, the aftermath of homemade explosive devices that cause death and agony for U.S. troops on the roads.
It's slaughter.
This Afghanistan war veteran, who doesn't want to be identified, says he's struggling with nightmares from the images of soldiers on both sides being blown apart by bombs.
I watched a good buddy of mine take a piece of shrapnel right to his neck and died.
He was in the vehicle behind his buddy.
I wish I could have traded places with him. He had a family, wife, baby girl.
Now nightmares haunt him, he says, far too often.
Thrashing around, kicking, screaming, yelling orders.
Another soldier who wants to remain anonymous experienced similar war scenes in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Seen a lot of blood from our own medevac helicopters and, vehicles. And seen the vehicle, in front of you, which should have been you, but or the vehicle after you that gets pulled in.
He brought those horrific images on the battlefield back home, and to cope, he says he began to self-medicate, a term used for those suffering from PTSD.
We try to drink our pain away.
And he says he's hypervigilant, another PTSD term.
Where you're trying to get the corner, where you don't want to, when you want to have everybody facing you, you don't want anybody behind you.
Both veterans say they have many of the hallmarks of PTSD sufferers.
Nightmares.
Yep.
Flashbacks.
Yep.
Hypervigilance.
Yep.
Panic attacks.
Yep.
Sadness.
Yep.
Anger.
Yep.
Disassociation.
A little bit.
Isolation.
Yep.
Emotional detachment.
Yep.
Substance abuse.
Yes.
Self-medication.
Yes.
But after several years in the Tucson VA system, they say they haven't improved much. The standard treatment for PTSD sufferers is a combination of psychotherapy and medication. Both veterans say they have no problem getting medication prescribed by psychiatrists to control their symptoms.
Right now I'm being heavily medicated. To go to sleep, I take about 20 pills at night. Here you go, here's some pills. Come back in 3 months. That's pretty much the normal schedule that they have me on.
The Tucson VA says it has 22 psychiatrists. 25 are needed to be fully staffed. But this vet wants more one-on-one time or longer times beyond 30 minutes with psychologists for psychotherapy to help him cope with the lasting impacts of war.
The VA, the care, it's good. It's getting to see the care is the problem.
A highly credible source tells me there are 17 psychologists who provide psychotherapy at the Tucson VA main campus, but at least 40 are needed based on the number of patients at the Tucson VA. To put it into perspective, the VA hospital in Minneapolis, about double the size of the Tucson VA, has 82 psychologists. Phoenix VA has about 50. The source says the doctor shortage is more severe at the community clinics, like the Northwest VA facility. We recently received a tip of a hidden wait list for mental health patients discovered at that clinic, and we've confirmed the Office of Inspector General is looking into it. The source says the VA clinics have no psychologists. Now, the Tucson VA says it offers group therapy sessions, which some vets say are too clinical.
And you're in there with, 20 other people. And okay, this is what we're going to work on today. And it's not that the therapies don't work, it's just there's so many people there that need help.
Both men, now unemployed, say they're worried if the disorders they feel are service-related are left untreated long enough, major depression will develop to the point it simply becomes too much to handle.
Is it severe enough that you've thought of taking your own life?
Yeah, I've thought about it.
Can you deal with life?
I don't have a life. I don't. I don't leave the house unless I absolutely need to. I don't see my friends. I mean, I'm pissed off and irritated and depressed all at the same time, and it's I mean, about 2 years ago, I was ready to eat a bullet. I mean, this isn't a life.
They're simply waiting, they say, for the day the nightmares end. No longer soldiers back on the battlefield. Valerie Cavazos, KGUN-9 on your side.